Welcome, Walnut. I'm Lara, but you can call me Laz, your host for Walnut Wednesday. This is your reminder to be brave, be yourself, and know that you can make the world a better place just by what you decide today. Here, I'm going to share my weekly walnuttings with you on a Wednesday. Hello, Walnut. It is me, Laz, here for another episode of Walnut Wednesday, and I'm so excited to invite and have and be receiving on the podcast my beautiful sister from another mister, Allana. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I got my merch on. I'm repping the Walnut brand. I'm very excited.
She's in her swag. If you're not watching this, if you're listening, she's got a lovely walnut jumper on. Whoop, whoop. This is going to be good. Allana, I will just get you to really quickly, I know a couple of walnuts know who you are, but there will be walnuts going, who is this Allana beautiful person? Do you want to quickly introduce yourself, please?
I would love to. So my name is Allana. I am a Canadian professional engineer. I work in project management. I am a very close friend of Laura's sister. Love it. And I recently have gotten some podcast experience speaking on a podcast specific to women in engineering in Canada. And lucky for me, Laura jumped in and was like super hyping me up in the comments. And I've landed here now on the Walnut Wednesday podcast, which I've followed and listened to since its inception. And yeah, I love the platform. I'm so excited to always talk about empowering women in any industry. I know I kind of focus specifically on engineering and project management because that's what I do. And it's all like super male dominated. We've got our issues for sure. But the other big thing that I like to really advocate for is just being yourself in any situation, being your authentic self, bringing your personality into everything you do. And I just really resonate with the Walnut brand because of that.
Oh, I love this. Thank you. And what a topic. I'm like just sitting here thinking, where the hell do I even want to begin? Because I feel like everything that you just said is so totally irrelevant. So why don't we just start at the beginning? Engineering, what the hell? Where did you fall into this? Like, did it start from when you were young and what you were into? Like, tell me about how you found engineering, and then we'll talk about the male-female part about it.
Yeah. So honestly, like I had no idea that I was going to be an engineer. Not a clue. I was just bopping around doing what Allana does. And, then it's high school, and everyone's like, oh, where are you going for university? What are you going to take? What are you doing after this? And I had no idea. And everyone just kept saying, oh, like, you're good at math. Why don't you be an engineer? Okay, sure. I was in a kind of a small town and just wanted a reason to get out. Like, okay, great. I'll do engineering. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
I was too stubborn to quit. So even after I realized like, oh, maybe this isn't really what I see myself doing for the rest of my life, I was just way too stubborn to quit. And 5 years later, I had a degree, and now another, 6 years later, here we are.
Oh, congratulations. That's some really good resilience and good effort for someone who said that they're just stubborn, because it is no easy feat getting a degree. I kind of similarly did the same, where it was like finished high school and I was like, oh, I don't know. And I always got so jealous of people that just knew that they wanted to do nursing, or, like I had a lot of friends who just knew, and I was like, what the hell? I'm just floating around in this little banana bubble.
Yeah.
So I just went to university with the idea that, okay, I liked drama, I liked photography, and so went on to sort of do similar things and ended up with a Bachelor of Arts graduating. But it's not yeah, again, it was similar to you where it's just you just fell into it
Yeah.
and we're like, okay, let's just do it and get it done. And
And then you
now
have
I
to
have
figure
it.
out like what you're gonna do after. Like
Yeah.
it's all good. Like you're like, okay, I'll just do this. And then afterwards you're like, okay, now I have to be a grown up. I have to
Yeah.
get a job. I have like, oh my God. I didn't even really want to do this. Now I'm here. Like, what
I
what?
know. I know. And now we're getting to the age where it's like we're saying things that our parents were saying, like, oh man, time goes so fast. I'm like, I still don't know what I want to do.
I know, I'm like, I like look for like the real adults in
Yeah.
quotation marks in the room. I'm like, I'm not a real grown up. Like, where's where's the true grown ups that can give me a hand here? Because I have no idea what I'm doing.
So,
Yeah.
Alana, tell me about the getting a job and these roles in engineering and how you had to really pro- probably, I'm assuming, walnut your way into feeling not confident, but like you owned a spot at the table, sort of thing. Because I can imagine in a
Yeah.
not even necessarily about it being like a male dominated profession, but like even with other people there, I feel like I would be feeling very peanutty in a world full of very, very intelligent people and wondering if I fit that caliber, even though you got the job, even though,
Yeah.
um,
Oh no, you're like absolutely spot on. It's such a confidence thing, right?
yeah.
And when I got my first job, and not even right out of university either. Like it it was kind of through a friend of a friend, family member of a family member type of thing. And so I got this first job and I was just like the only young girl in a very small office with four older men. And I had no clue what I was doing. And although I appreciate very much the opportunity that they gave me to get a little bit of experience under my belt, they were so focused on business development that I didn't have the opportunity to really learn what engineering was, what my role was. And so I didn't have the opportunity to build any confidence
Mm-hmm.
at all. So I left, I didn't really leave. I just kind of fizzled out from that job because I was like, I don't really like it. Not really the place for me, not a good fit. And me like thinking, oh, I've got this degree, I've got some experience. I had a lot of maybe misplaced confidence at that time. And I started applying for jobs, and it was like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of job applications that just no response whatsoever. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe I am like just another fish in the pond. There's nothing for me. And it totally takes a hit on your confidence.
Yeah.
And yeah, the next job that I finally did get, it was a lot of just running me into the ground. Actively, people at that job telling me I wasn't good enough, telling me I would never have a place in this industry. And you do have to fight for a place at the table. You have to continue to fight to say like, no, I think I do deserve to be here. It's not a bad thing that I'm new in this industry. It doesn't define where I'm going to go just because right now in this moment I don't have a ton of experience.
Mm.
So even now, like today, I've been in my current job for just over 3 years, and the shift in the confidence from the day that I got hired, when all I felt was just like this empty shell of myself, like I've been laid off for 6 months, I haven't had a job. The last two jobs were shit. You know,
Yeah.
I was just a husk, and the imposter syndrome smacks you in the face. And
Mm.
I honestly still does, even though I've kind of found this confidence with finally having like supportive managers and finding it within myself to like empower women and like do these things that are important to me and really fulfill me. And confidence is like it's everything. And I mean, I don't have to tell you, like,
Yeah, I was gonna.
that's why you're here. Like your whole steez is like, be confident, be brave, like walnut your way through all of it. And it's a constant walnut battle.
Yeah, it is, and I think it's just practice. One of my like favorite quotes from Melanie Ann, she's like the most delicious banana of all time, but she says confidence is compounded courage, or the other way around. But basically it's just being brave lots of times until you're in this place, and there's never a time. I feel like with confidence you're never necessarily at a level where it's like I'm confident. You've always got that little, I've still got stuff to learn. I've still got stuff to, but that's the fun part of walking with fear and with imposter syndrome and all the things, right? Because you know that you're going to grow, and then you're going to get these wonderful outcomes, which are these feelings of, I did that, of achievement and pride in yourself. So
Yeah.
it's hard. I was going to ask you what you think confidence is, but you kind of already alluded to it a little bit. And it is for me actually kind of hard to describe because it's got so many other things tied into that.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of like a sum of all your like experiences where you haven't felt confident
Yeah.
that somehow come together and once like I don't know, it's you're right,
Maybe
it's
it's
hard to
maybe it's for other people, because it's like I always like look at people, I'm like, oh my God, she just owns that room. She's so confident. And I'm like, oh my God, I
yeah.
could never be like that. But then I get like little compliments, which I receive, thank you, Allana, of like, look at you, you're so confident. And I'm like, huh?
Yeah. And you're like shocked. You're like, wait, me?
Yeah.
Who? Like that wasn't me like this time last year or like 5 years ago. Like all of a sudden you're just like there and you're like, uh, which is why
Yeah.
and I received this comment from one of my clients a couple weeks ago and she basically said like, looking at you now, you would never know all the struggles and all the tough times that you went through and like you're so confident now. You're so like you're doing such a good job. You're so good at what you do. And I was just kind of I was very taken aback. I was like, I'm glad that's what I show because on the inside I'm just faking it till I make it, right?
Yeah.
Like I did not feel that. And that's why it triggered me a little bit to as a reminder, it's so important to still talk about that journey and like all the times where even if it seems like you're super confident, you own the room and you have all the answers now, like there was definitely a time where I didn't. And I
Yeah.
think everybody still goes through that. So like why do we have to put on this image of like, oh, she's so perfect and she has no struggles. She's not having a hard time at all. Like just picture perfect film reel. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, that's totally not it at
Oh
all.
yeah. And I'm in rooms at my work with very empowering, strong leaders that just look like they're nailing it, but from the assistant front, it's like they do need a lot of support in the background to get to that. And I think it's really important to know, just as a walnut in general, in terms of this like confidence build, that even the most amazing, inspiring people all have like a team. So you're not ever
Yeah.
by you're not ever by yourself. You've got your people. Well, I hope you would have your people, Walnut, um, to lean back on, and to, like you say, Allana, share these stories with, share your struggles with, and then someone to share the experience of looking back in hindsight and going, oh, look what I did. Even like with
Yeah.
Walnut Wednesday, we're coming on 4 years this year, and I'm like, I mean, a lot of my like family don't necessarily like get this kind of like world, but like I'll be like, 4 years soon, like, and celebrating those little things. I think it's really, really important. And I don't know where I was going with this, but Allana, do you want to talk to a little bit about being how to be yourself authentically at work? Being your
Yeah.
how do you, a lot of people are like, how do you do it? Tell me more about being you.
I mean, I don't have the blueprint for it. I will say that much. I don't think there's any like right answer about it, but something that I am just so passionate about, like in my heart of hearts and my deepest soul, is you should always feel comfortable being yourself in any room that you're in. And it's like I said, I don't have the answer for how to do that. And it's not easy. I still struggle with that a lot. I'm kind of a big personality. I get told that I'm loud a lot, and so it's something that everybody I think struggles with. But like, how much time do we spend at work in our lives? Like a third, half, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's a ton. Like, so I understand the need to be, professional. You have to, if you're in a client setting, you have to maintain that professionalism. But if I take myself too seriously, if I, look at everything like this is the end all be all of my day. This has to be, I have to portray this version of myself that is so not how I feel on the inside, it becomes miserable. So when I go into work each day and, into any room, I want to feel like I can just be myself. I can crack my stupid jokes. I can laugh at myself if I make a mistake. And that, I think, is how people find happiness, honestly, just in their day-to-day lives, like in their work. Like, it's just such a big thing to me. If I have to go sit in the office and just be, like stone faced, I'm Allana, I'm working. Work. Like, it's so boring. Like, I want to laugh, I want to smile, I want to bring my energy, I want to, enjoy the space that I take up. And I think it does come with confidence, and like it kind of bringing it all back to that, it does come with these little like walnut moments of like, should I make the joke or should I not make the joke? Like, and like, I don't know. It's just like I've been kind of shoved into this like box of like, you have to be this and you have to behave this way. As a woman, you can't be emotional. You can't behave this way at work. Otherwise, people will think that you're obnoxious. People will think that you're bossy. People will think that you are, too emotional to do anything. And y'all, like, I like to laugh. I like to poke fun at things. I like to make things lighthearted. Like, especially in project management, we're not doing brain surgery. People are not going to die. Like, it's work. It's important. Maintain your professionalism where you need to, but man, can't we just have a good time? We're all stuck here together. We might as well make the best of it. Like,
yeah. I love how you said kind of like without specifically saying it, but you said that you want to oh god, what words, you want to take up the space. You're like, I want to do something when I'm taking up the space. And I love that you just like said that you want to take up space. A lot of walnuts on their journey really struggle with this idea of taking up the space, or like we said, sitting at the table with the people and stuff like that. And I agree with you. It does take a little bit of walnutting and confidence to get there. But I feel like for me, it's been a sort of a deep knowing that I am okay to be myself. Like, it is something from inside. You can't get it from outside people, even though you got the people that laugh at the joke or that, make you feel nice, totally. Or all those things, they add to it and they're really great and amazing. But for me, it's always been like this inside thing where I've just been taking these little steps, and then I get to a place where like, oh, I'm pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm actually proud that I did that. I'm not I'm not embarrassed of myself. I'm not ashamed. I don't feel weird. I'm not thinking about that sentence I said for 3 weeks, like, and again, that comes with all the practice.
Yeah, it's practice. Oh, totally. And like I'll say, like, even though I feel like I have kind of found a little bit of that confidence being myself, like I still have the moments where I'm like, oh, wow, I really shouldn't have said that. That was a stupid thing to say. I'll be thinking about it going to bed. I'm like, oh
Mm,
my God, this person's gonna just be like thinking I'm such an idiot. I'm so stupid. Like, why did I do that? Like, I think it's important to remember that, like we said, even though you kind of come across as confident and you know your shit, everybody still has these like really scary thoughts. These like the imposter syndrome. It comes
yeah.
at you and they're ready to fight you. And
Yeah. It's really important as well, to know that it's like how I always thought of my bully demon and my imposter syndrome is that it's actually there to try and keep you safe. It's not actually like a big mean, like I'm a visual person,
yeah,
so it's not like this big like person in this armor that's like, are you sure you should feel embarrassed? It's actually like this little, I imagine like this little mouse being like, oh, maybe you shouldn't have said that. Like, and you're like, oh, thank you, little mouse. Thank you so much for
yeah,
that. I don't really need to, like, stab myself in the guts about this, but thank you for bringing it up. Let's just put you on a shelf and carry on. We don't need to like hang on to these um big, nasty,
yeah,
mean things from a small little comment. And that again is so much easier said than done. And I have been
yeah.
there, I have lived it, I have been stuck in a comment for like 3 months. So
Oh yeah,
again,
totally.
I feel
I
like
think
that
it's
was
I think it's like remembering that people are not thinking about you as much as you think they're thinking about you.
yeah.
I think that's kind of an important thing. I'm like, oh, everybody's thinking about me all the time. They're absolutely remembering this one word that I said that was stupid. Like,
Yeah.
probably not. Like, everybody else has way, way more going on, and they're not like micro analyzing everything that you did that day.
Yeah.
Nobody else cares,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Allana, I have a question. This is just very curious from the top of my little brain. But I imagine you like I would love working with you because I feel like you do just like brighten the room. Like you're like one of those people that's like,
Oh, thank you.
party's here. Like I can imagine you like everyone being like, yay, Alana's here. Oh, thank God. Do people when you're having like an off day because you're a human being and sometimes you're not entirely bright and bubbly, do people notice? Are people like, you okay?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
buddy.
And
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's something that I kind of struggle with too, right? Because I am like, people actively notice when I'm both in the room and then once I've left the room because all of a sudden it's quiet and they're like, oh, where did Olivia go? Like, so when I do have like my off days, I can give a very specific example too. Like I was
Yeah.
having just a real shit day. I was PMSing. I had like a bad meeting. Like it was just a meeting that kind of didn't it went a little bit sideways with a client. I was just in my personal life and my work life, it was all just kind of coming together as like this wave of like, oh my God, I feel like garbage today. And we have every 2 weeks, we have these regular like in office days. I'm generally work from home. But every 2 weeks we have a team in office day. And this day that I felt so terrible landed on that in office day. I was not required to go into the office, but I was like, I just felt like, oh, it's the in office day. I have to go. And so
Mm-hmm.
I was feeling cranky about that too. I was like, God, like I don't want to be around people right now. Like, oh.
Yeah.
So I went to the office and I just kind of sat down and I like put my headphones on and I just worked, worked. A few hours into the day, my boss came over and was like, can we go chat? And I was like, God, like rolled my eyes. I was like, the last thing I want to do right now is chat. But I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. I get up, follow him to his office, and he's like, are you okay? Like, you are not yourself today. I don't like I almost started crying. It was like when somebody you're holding it all together, and then the second somebody asks, like, "Are you okay?" You're like, "I'm not okay." Like, oh. And so, like, it was in that moment, I was like, "Yeah, like, I should not have come to the ops today. I should have like just stayed at home because it was not." And how do you tell your boss, like, your like male boss, like, "Oh yeah, like my period's coming up," like, real shit about that, like. It's like a little bit uncomfortable, right? But
Yeah.
like, but it's also this thing of like, why do I feel bad for having an off day? Like, we're human, we are like emotional it, by nature. Like, it's not a bad thing that I'm having a bad day, but it does get tricky sometimes to kind of navigate that. Like, oh, Allana's not, laughing and being her like quote unquote regular self. Like, got to tiptoe around her now. Like, I don't know. Do we ask her if she's okay? Because, oh, I don't know. It's work. Do we do that at work? Do we talk about our feelings at work? I don't know.
Yeah.
And part of what I'm trying to do is just like normalize that, right? Like, normalize the shit days because everybody has them.
Yeah. I can imagine that would, like, I don't know, does that feel like a lot of pressure on you as well? Because you're normally like the bright, bubbly, energizer bunny banana. Do you feel a little bit of pressure to be that sometimes? Just
Yeah,
curious.
sometimes. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
no, for sure. Because people start expecting you to be a certain way, right? They get used
Yeah.
to you, and then that's what they get comfortable with.
Mm.
So when it changes from the usual, all of a
Yeah.
sudden it's new, it's different, it's uncomfortable, it's
Yeah.
what the heck is going on.
Yeah, I love
So
this discussion. And what did you do um in that day? Did you just let the day be and be okay with feelings, or did you do some small little things to ease the tension of feeling like a butthole? How did the day end?
yeah, basically, like, I told my boss, like, yeah, like, I'm not having a good day. I've got like this personal, like, these health issues that I'm dealing with, and I'm just having an off day.
Mm.
And it's like, okay, it's like, go home if you need to, stay. Just like, it's fine, like, do what you need to do, which I was appreciative of. I was like, you know what, like, I'm here, I'm gonna stay, I'm gonna finish my day, but I'm not gonna change my, like, I'm not gonna go out of my way to change my aura,
Mm.
so to speak, just to make other people like feel comfortable in this space. Like, I took my meetings, I made my phone calls, I didn't have lunch with the big group that day. I just kind of had lunch on my own, and the day came and went. And
You
the next
survived.
time I survived, nobody said anything about it. The next day I was in the office, I was feeling better. Like, it was one day, right? There was nothing to make a big deal about.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. I have had similar times. Yeah, and funnily, it must be a thing, but it was around pre-period time. And I always kind of say, like, I've got like a counterpart at my work, and I always like bring up my app and I'm like, look, like, expect me to not
Like,
be happy. Okay.
just let's slide this in front of you
Yeah.
here.
It's like period in 2 days. I'm like showing it to her. Um, yeah, it is a thing. So thank you so much, Allana, for sharing. Before we wrap up this amazing little episode, I feel like I could talk to you for ages. I want to hear more stories. Maybe you need to come back for a part two.
Oh,
Um,
listen, always welcome. Like, you're more than welcome to invite me for part two. I'm happy to oblige.
okay, bitch, consider this your invitation for part two. We'll talk offline. Do you have anything else left, Allana, on your heart that you feel like you wanted to share in relation to this particular episode to a Walnut listening?
Don't be afraid to be yourself. That's, just one of there's two kind of mantras that I guess I live by on a day-to-day basis. And one of them is to be relentless and be resilient. So basically, be relentless in your pursuits and achieving and working towards the things that fill you up, and be resilient when those things don't go your way. It's okay to fall down, and it's okay to get back up again. And the other thing that I really like to live by is it's only temporary. So if you're having like I said, it was one day when I was having that bad day. It's a temporary feeling. I know it's always hard in the moment to remind yourself of that and to allow yourself to feel those feelings and then move on. But everything's only temporary. Next week will be different. Next month will be different. Next year will be different, whether that's in a personal capacity, in a workplace capacity. I have a constant changeover of projects, of team members that I work with. So if I have a run-in with somebody that I maybe don't like too much, it's a temporary run-in. It's a temporary conversation. It's a temporary project. These feelings we have, they're temporary. They mold and shift and change. So even though it's hard, try to remember that it's not going to last.
That's so beautiful. Thank you so much. And I was thinking in this episode when you were talking that you do remind me, like if I had to think of some words that described you, you definitely are and have shown such resilience in all of the things that you've been through, and while at the same time being like a beautiful ball of light. You're just so amazing. And my third word for you would be, I just think you're very supportive, kind and supportive. Okay, so there's 4 words: resilient, ball of light, that's lots of words, kind and supportive. You are just a very, very beautiful person, and I'm so lucky to know you and have met you that one time in Vegas.
I know. Oh, I know. We need to do. Theresa and I have been working on this. Like we got to get something going here for sure. Okay. It's been far too long.
I'm inviting myself.
we are inviting you. Well, I haven't talked to her about it yet, but I'm inviting. We'll work it out offline.
Deal. All right, Allana, I have a token question that I ask all my guests on this podcast, which is, what does being a walnut mean to you?
I will say, so when people have been asking me, because I'll tell you, I've been hyping up this podcast. And so when people have been asking me, what is that? And I've been describing walnutting as being brave in the everyday things. So not as I know it, like we have to be brave when we're taking like big steps. We have to be brave when we're doing big things, working towards big goals. And that I think is something that people find easy to remember. Yeah. What I think is harder to remember is to be brave in just like the little day-to-day things, like, like I don't know if I want to go to this spin class. Like there's a lot of people in there, like that could be scary. I've never done it before. Like find the braveness and find the walnut in yourself to just go do that one small thing. And I think it would surprise people that once you do these little acts of braveness and these little tiny walnuts, that the big ones become easier.
Yeah. Oh, I'm like just tearing up a little bit because you've nailed it. You've literally nailed my whole brand. So that's very special. Thank you so much. And I'm so glad that you get it in that way, just like me. I love it.
Thank you for being you and creating this space for other people and other women to shine. It's so important. So thank you.
I'm gonna cry some more. Allana, if there's a walnut listening, or walnuts, should I say, listening, that are like, holy fucking balls, I need to follow this woman. I need to just see what her life is like. Where do you hang out on the internet?
Instagram, it's just my name, Allana Spooner. You can give me a follow on there. I'm not the most active, but yeah, I sometimes post fun little things about my life here in Vancouver, Canada, which is it's a pretty epic place to live, I gotta say. Um, and my LinkedIn actually is where I'm kind of starting to be more active, posting about these things that are very important to me and kind of the Canadian work culture and work-life balance thing. So yeah, again, just search my name on LinkedIn and you can find me. Feel free to give me a follow, shoot me a message. Happy to chat.
Oh, bananas. Okay, and Walnut, I'll link them in the show notes for us as well. Um, Walnut, thank you so much for being here and for your time and for listening. And if you enjoyed this episode, take a little screenshot and share with Allana and I so we know that you were listening. And if you've got any questions, send them through so myself or Allana can answer them for you. But thank you for being here with us. I really appreciate your time. And Allana, thank you so, so much for visiting my podcast. Again, you're invited to part 2 whenever you want to. And I love you and I appreciate you. And I am so grateful for all you do in the world by just literally being yourself. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you so much for having me. I love you.
Bye, everyone.